Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good, what's good?
We have Jamie the Great.
Yeah, what up, what up?
We have a very special guest. It makes me very, very happy to introduce today's guest. He's one of the first people who come to mind when I think of the Bay. Man, he's had a crazy year. He's had a very crazy year. 6 months ago in December, this guy suffered from a very serious stroke on air while he was streaming on Twitch. He had the stroke. He's been in recovery since then for the past 6 months. And, you know, during that time, as a testament to this guy's character, the DJ community banded together to keep this guy's Twitch going so he could continue making money and focus on his recovery. He's one of the greatest dudes I know. You know, thankfully, this past Monday on June 28th, after 6 months in recovery, you know, this man made a comeback on Twitch and he debuted his back on his live stream for Boom Bap Mondays. He DJed for 2 hours. I damn near teared up when I saw him on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Damn near almost every DJ I know was on his Twitch on that Monday, and everyone was really happy to see him back.
Yep.
And I couldn't be more happy that he's on, you know, on our podcast today, man. Let's show some love for the Bay's finest. DJ AUDIO1. Thank you, sir.
What an introduction.
What an intro, man.
That was real heartfelt.
What's good, man?
I almost cheered up there, buddy. You gotta chill with those words.
Yeah.
Is Crooked going soft on us now?
Yeah,
I think so. It sounds like that, right?
Dude, yeah, this is a whole different Crooked, man.
I bet, yeah, I've been bitch made for a minute now since the pandemic. Since we,
it's crazy.
It's
crazy how
I've been
good
slowly,
works.
I've been slowly getting more and more bitch made. That's in the past year.
A little softy.
Dude, I mean, Crooked was hanging out with us in San Francisco. He DJ'd out there like a month before the pandemic started, and he was just like, I was like, yo, I like this new Crooked, man. He's dancing, he's drinking, he's dancing with chicks. I'm like, yo, like he's wavy right now. Like,
Was that the R&B and Ribs party?
Yeah.
Shout out to Nopa. Nopa slaps.
Yeah, man.
Didn't
this weekend.
Nopa? He's launching it this weekend, right? Is he?
Yeah, this weekend. Yeah. He's
Wow.
doing it again,
Nice.
man. Shout out to
Yeah.
Nopa, man. He's
Shout out to Nopa
working, man.
slaps. That
He's
was yeah. If I had to go on lockdown, that was the perfect party for me to end. You know, whatever DJ live gigs I had. That was a fun night. You know,
That was really, really fun.
it was a
man.
great night. It was one of those nights where I'm like, man, because that was like last year, and that was the first party I did. That was like a good music party. You know, and it wasn't like bottle service nightclub based party. It was like outdoors.
Yeah.
And I was like, I made a promise. I'm like, I'm gonna do more of these parties, like you know, and do more of this because this is what I want to do. And then I was the only one I did last year, and then we went to the quarantine.
Literally,
and shit. Yeah,
literally like a few weeks later, man. So it felt like that last month. Like a lot of like really dope stuff started to happen, and then everything shut down.
And it was crazy because it was like Lazy Boy was like, you know, he just like kind of. He was like he was at a good level, and we were all hanging out for the first time in a while, and it was just like a great day. I remember that day. It was like the day before, like the end of the world, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real. And then the next day we were at Motown on Monday too. Like,
yeah, we were
was
just
really
hanging out.
Good,
Yeah,
good
Oh,
time.
damn, man.
yeah. And we was just one of those weekends. I was like, man, San Francisco's the best. Like the Bay's the best.
Yeah,
then,
that was definitely like SF at its finest, man. And it's slowly starting to get back that way again, man.
Yeah. I see it. It's bubbling. Like when y'all about to pop for real.
Hopefully.
I feel like,
man.
But I mean, you've had a fucking roller coaster of a year, maybe like 18 months almost, right? Basically, you've had a hell of a year, man. And you know, when I think of you, I think of the word consistency. You know, if consistency was a person. You know, your Super Mario face would be, you know, the picture of your Super Mario face would be right by the definition in the dictionary of consistency. Yeah. You know, and I say this because I mean, you're known for making edits. You make edits. You've been making edits a long time. Like how many? 15 plus years? How many years?
Yeah, about 15 or so.
15 years you've been making edits for almost every song that's ever been out, right? From hip hop, reggae, R&B, pop, EDM, whatever. You're still making them. You've accumulated an email list and you've sent you've sent these edits out for 15 plus years for free, right? I mean, that's consistency. Number one, that's consistency, right? And you created an outreach of homies and DJs around the world, I would assume, right? In and out of this country. You know, even when we went into lockdown, you were like, I'm going to make a mixtape for every day we're on lockdown.
Yeah.
And how many?
The first 60 days, yeah.
Yeah, so you made 60 mixtapes in 60 straight days.
Yeah,
you know?
That was, I'm never going to do that ever again.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The first 60 days, it was just very scary, man, just because we didn't know what we were dealing with at all. You know what I'm saying? It was just like from one day to the next we shut down, and you know, for me it was like, let me do something to you know, stay creative. And you know, I started with that first mix and it got good, you know, good buzz that day, and I just kept doing it. And I'm like, how long am I gonna do this for? And the longer, you know, the pandemic went, I'm like, I don't think I could do this like every single day. Because I remember Crooked asked me, are you gonna do 90 days, are you gonna be down? I'm like, I think I'm going to 60. And then that's literally around the 60-day mark was when I like had already jumped on Twitch. So yeah.
And then you're one of the few guys who really built your Twitch from the ground up. You know what I mean? Like, you work like a motherfucker and you earned that partner status that you got, that partner badge. I mean, it took you how many months? Like 4 months or more?
For that, I jumped in April, so about 4.5 months. It was in August when I got partnered. Yeah,
that shit ain't easy on Twitch, especially during that time. Especially you were seeing a lot of DJs just kind of who were like cherry pick DJs who maybe had a higher profile, and they were kind of instantly given a partner, you know, status. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And for you grinding it, and then I always think of consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always consistent, and you're always positive about the shit. Like, you're not really negative about shit. You know what I'm saying?
Which is completely the opposite of everything we see on Twitter every day, right?
I know, complete opposite. I want to talk about that Twitter shit probably towards the end of the episode. But you know, I do want to go back 18 months ago, because we were talking early on 18 months ago, right when the lockdown happened. You were doing a few mixtapes. I mean, like all of us, you know, we all kind of lost our livelihood, right? We were all like, yo, what the fuck's going on with this DJing thing? You know, I think at one point you even considered like getting a job, or I don't know if you was working part-time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did some part-time stuff, but you know, it doesn't compare to, you know, actually work. You know, for us, you know, this is our livelihood. This is what we have known all our lives. You know? So
and you was I know you was hustling though, and you really had, you know, you didn't really have an ego about any of it. You know, throughout the whole process of everything, you've always just really focused on the solutions. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I really love that. I love that you always focus on the solutions and like, what could I do? Like, I'm in control of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I control me, and I control the outcome of what I do. You know what I'm saying? And you stayed active. You did the mixtapes right at the tail end of your 60 mixtapes. You went to Twitch. You made partner status, and you're really good on Twitch. You're like observant to the chat. You know, you're quick to do the shout outs. You're almost like an auctioneer. You're very like,
you have to, you know, you know,
You're very much like, Mary J, thank you very much. I see you with the subs, appreciate it, and you're on to the next one. Me, you know, and I'm kind of like, Mary J, yo, big shout to. I'm like struggling to read that shit. You're almost like the dude from Micro Machines. You're just spitting that shit out.
It can be like that sometimes, man. But you know what? The beauty about like Twitch is that you know, there's no one way of going about it. You can DJ and not talk, and you can talk, and you know, you have like Four Color Zach, who has a whole, you know, entertainment center. You know, like his is like a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like, the possibilities are endless on there, and the music, and being, you know, I think what a lot of people experienced during the pandemic is just the freedom, like not being tied down to just a playlist, you know, like we normally would be in a club, you know, and it's sort of strange that now, you know, a lot of people are returning and they don't have that same freedom, or some people are trying it, but it ain't working. So
what do you mean they're returning back to the clubs, or?
Yeah, like a lot of people just didn't go into their club crates at all during the pandemic, and now they're having to go back into the club crate, which is understandable, and
Yeah.
that's something that I try to explain to like the audience, hey, don't get upset when your DJ is live and it isn't the same as what you're used to on Twitch. It's DJing on Twitch and DJing in a club is two different things. In the club, you really do have to focus on the people in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that the vibe is right and what management, expects out of you. Whereas on Twitch, you just do whatever you want, man. I could stop the music and just talk shit for 10 minutes and then play music again. Like we can't do that in real life. So, so for me, I felt like use Twitch as a way to, sort of build an audience that will want to come out once the pandemic is over. You know what I mean? Like, you join me on here, come meet me in real life at one of my events type of thing. But unfortunately, with what happened with me with my health, I don't have that luxury at this point. But, eventually in due time,
Yeah. I do want to talk about your health, but I also want to talk about, losing your livelihood. And then kind of like you were really thriving on Twitch. You were one of the few guys that was really, really blowing up on Twitch. Like you really created a name for yourself, and I was very, very, very proud of you. I was also very proud of DJ Heavy from Chicago.
Yeah, that's my man.
You were one of the few guys that really took to Twitch and really made a name for yourself, almost to a point where like, holy shit, these guys are creating a real fan base for themselves, bigger than they ever had, in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you guys really, really hustled and y'all really, really worked at it. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to know how it felt to like lose your livelihood, do these mixtapes, and then go on Twitch and just go through like the weekly, every other day streams and then build this following. And I know it could be kind of like, because we used to do a weekly Sunday, right? We used to do battles on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I know how like exhausting and draining it could be, right? Because you could have like a really great stream one night and then like you lose kind of some of your viewership in the next day, or you know what I'm saying? So just walk me through that, especially you guys thriving right after losing everything.
Yeah, for me, it was just what could I do at this point? You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't so much the money at that point. It's never really about the money, but like that was my biggest fear in the beginning when I lost my livelihood. I only had so much money like left, that I could survive off of. So for me it was, I know everybody went to buying the, the iRigs and all the gear, and you guys know the first month of my streaming, I was using these headphones as a mic, but for me it was more like, let me make sure I pay the rent, pay the bills first. You know what I'm saying? Like the mic will come down the line. And thankfully my homie DJ Twinspin went and got me one. He's like, I love you, but I can't see you using headphones, as a mic. But
that's crazy. So wait, I remember your streams in the beginning were super bootleg, right?
Yeah, he was like working bare bone. He was just
very bare bones. Yeah,
it almost looked like you were streaming from your closet a little bit, right?
He just had like a black tarp in the back, and then it was just one turntable and the mixer.
It's literally the same setup I have now. I mean, these are actually, I got these at Kmart when they were still open. It was just these are like table covers.
Yeah.
They're like $5, and I just put them up. And I mean, you like from looking, you couldn't tell on the stream what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just working with what I had at the time. So, but
I
love it.
Also, remember everyone was buying the S11. I had the S9, and you still working on the Vastets, right?
The mixer I was using then was the
Newmark, no?
The Newmark, yeah.
The Newmark, that's what it was. Yeah. And I remember telling Cricket, I'm like, oh shit, man, yeah, he's killing it. He's not even like rocking with the S11 or S9.
Yeah, very bare bones, man. I mean, you for me it was more like let's see what I can do with what I got. As much as I wanted to buy a mixer, I mean, I waited till this last month to get an S11. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like when it comes to money, it's make sure that the bills are paid, that the rent's paid. Those things are more important than the luxuries. Like saving money, saving for moments like this. Because we still don't know, man. I mean,
I know.
There's this new variant out. I mean, I'm afraid they're gonna shut things down, again, which it's gonna be tough for them to do. But you never know. Like, so for me, I'm working on like, let me make sure I have some stuff aside just in case, because a lot of us learned that the government just wasn't gonna be there for us when we stopped working. It took you know, like in California, it took almost 2 months for us to even get any type of unemployment or assistance. You know, that was pretty tough. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
It's just a scary ass situation, right? It's just like no one,
Yeah.
like who would ever expect something would affect the whole fucking world, and let alone the whole country all at once.
Right.
And I just remember talking to all kinds of people about, you know, everyone was just really depressed and just had a really grim outlook on the future, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's like, thank God for Twitch, because that really saved a lot of DJs. And it gave a career to a lot of other DJs, you know? Like, it's just such a great thing, you know? And I really hated, like, back, you know, a few months ago, I don't know when it was, when there was, like, the club DJs versus, like, when Twitch DJs were, like, kind of shitting on club DJs, and there was this whole thing when I was just like, yo, do y'all realize what just happened? Like, do y'all realize what just happened? Like, we're all about, everyone's working right now, whether you streaming and making money or you're about to DJ in a real club, make money. Like, why the fuck would y'all hate on each other? It just don't make no fucking sense. Like, you know,
I thought that was silly in general, you know. And a few weeks ago, the Beat Junkies were on Tweak Music Tips, and they basically said it. Hey, just, you know, there's a Twitch DJ now, but that doesn't stop you from being. You could do both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, some people got on Twitch, did their thing, and they got out. They're back in the real world, you know, like, more power to them, you know. But then, you know, for me, the way I look at things, and a lot of us look at things, is why would you leave that audience that, like, looked out for you all this time? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are like, damn, man, my streamer's, like, not even on anymore. They don't even give a fuck about it. So, like, we've been sort of embracing all these people into our communities now, you know. And honestly, if you were making some money on Twitch, like, you're kind of leaving money on the table if you just walk away, you know. Like, a smart thing would be to, like, even if it was like come back once a week or something, you know what I mean? But you know, like, you know, like Sujin and Scam Artist, you know, you see how he's doing, you know, he's keeping everybody working, you know. So the reality is there are DJs on Twitch that have never played a club in their life. I've met a bunch of them. I know a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And then the majority of the people that I actually know are club DJs. They just weren't working during the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, like, you never got to see them before because we were all, the reality is we were all working. We rarely got to see each other, you know, or see each other's sets. Now we had this rare opportunity where people could take a peek into our world and even get to hear stuff outside of what we normally would play at a club, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think for, like, you know, I was talking to Neil Jackson recently because him and
shout to Neil.
Yeah, and
he's
then
a coffee,
DJ Fly.
He's a coffee maker now, right? He has his own coffee.
His Twitch branding went into coffee, so yeah, he's doing
this
that
guy.
now.
Wait, so this guy Neil Jackson, right? Great DJ in New York.
Yep.
Did like a morning stream or something.
He still does
around coffee and, like, you know, and then started selling coffee beans, right, as merch. Yep. And now he's actually like he's got a coffee bean. Yeah, he has his own company now selling coffee beans.
Yeah, BRL, Beats Drums in Life. Yeah, I had a convo with him and Fly because that's how we became partner. We were just on it every day and night for like 3-4 months straight. That's how we did it. Like, every morning, you know, Neil would start, and then he would send the raid over to Fly, and then Fly would raid to me, and then we would do that in the evening. And it was kind of nuts because, like, I would do the late set. I would be like 9 to 11 p.m., go to sleep at 3 a.m., only to wake up at 8 to do it again at like 9 o'clock. Like, it was like that for weeks at a time. It was a grind to get that partnership. But honestly, for me, it was therapeutic in a way because I was going, you know, like all of us, we all had a really dark outlook on what was going to happen, but luckily the audience was there for us and we were there for them, man. Like, Neil, you know, told me stories about, you know, like, you know, the first responders that he met from New York. You know, they were seeing some of the worst stuff out there, and, you know, but they're like, yo, we're tuning into you guys are giving us hope, you know. And I started getting those types of messages, and, you know, that made it, you know, even better. Like, hey, we're all, you know, when it's kind of ironic when people say we're all in this together, but we really were, you know. You know, we were all looking at, I mean, we all went through I think all of us have been, you know, through some type of PTSD, you know what I mean? Like, with what's happened, you know. And I know some people took to drinking, some people got more into drugs or whatever, you know. Like for me, it was crazy because I stopped drinking. Like once the lockdown began, like I stopped drinking. I went to Vegas that weekend for a wedding, and then I came back, and then I haven't drank. I've been drinking like almost 16 months now, you know.
Damn.
So that was like,
Oh man.
so imagine doing the pandemic, all that stuff happened, and I didn't drink at all. As much as sometimes I wanted to, but you know, like I just got to that point, like, you know, I should just cool off with drinking, you know, and like that was like one step go towards health. But unfortunately, with the pandemic, I let myself go, you know, with my health and stuff, and that led to what happened.
Like,
know?
how so? Do you mean you let yourself go?
Well, I was just eating bad. I wasn't working out anymore. Like I stopped working out, you know, like my gym closed, you know, like I stopped doing kickboxing and all that stuff, you know, and you know, so I started gaining weight. All the food we were getting was Uber Eats, and it was all fast food. And you know, 3-4 times a day doing that, you know, I was drinking too much soda, too much Starbucks, you know, like just too much sugar. I was having a lot of Red Bulls, and that catches up to you. You know what I'm saying? And it caught up to me in the worst way, man. So
and that was kind of like your streaming diet, right? Because it's like you stream so much.
Yeah.
Like you just had to just get food on the fly, even eat kind of like while you're spinning or whatever the fuck kind of thing, right? Yeah. How long were you eating that bad since you started Twitch? Pretty much.
Yeah, probably like the year going into Twitch. Like off and on, I've dieted and things like that. But during the pandemic, it just got really bad. Like you know, like I just wasn't cooking at home. You know, like I really don't cook. So
you was eating fast food. You was like ordering Uber Eats, and then and the thing is that you were thriving on Twitch, so you were making money. So Uber Eats was just convenient, right? It was just like, yo, let me just get this. And then it's also almost like an indulgence, right? Because it's like, yo, it's like a reward. Like you're treating yourself, right? Doing good.
But it wasn't the right type of treat for sure. Right. You know, in hindsight, you know. So,
right. No, but I totally get it. I totally get it. And so you're indulging in food kind of a little bit as a vice, and maybe you gave up alcohol, but maybe it increased your indulgence into food a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear happens. You know, you trade one thing for another, you know, and yeah.
And then in December, right, you have a stroke while you're streaming, right? I don't like what happened. Like, how did you know you were having a stroke? Like, what the fuck happened? You're like,
well, I'm aware of what they are, and immediately I was DJing. I was 30 minutes into my Latin set, and all of a sudden I felt like a numbness just came by me. Like it was like my whole body just kind of got numb. I was holding the record, and I couldn't feel the record anymore. I'm like, well, that's odd. And I'm touching the cue points, and I can't feel like anything, like because I do everything with my left hand, and I'm like, oh, this is really awkward. And then I felt like this part of my face, and all of a sudden I was like this. I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good. And then my whole like left side just went limp. And at that point, I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm having a stroke. So at that moment, I turned off the camera and I hit R.O.A.D to get I didn't want anybody. If I was gonna die, I wasn't gonna have motherfuckers watch me die. So like I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah. The last moment was like, Raid.
Wait.
That's like really good awareness on your part.
I know.
to have the presence of mind to hit the raid button just so you can like kind of like do your thing in peace. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have everything ready. Like when I'm gonna raid, I already know who it's for. I just hit the button and it's ready to go. So that's literally what we did. So, but yeah,
I feel like most people would freak out and just lose their shit. You were still calm in that moment to do that.
I stayed calm because I knew that I was still on camera. When I turned the camera off, and you know, I was like, let me just hit this button and then I could worry about this.
Holy shit. But this happened fast, right? Like this is all going fast.
It happened within a span of a minute or two. Yeah, very fast.
Holy shit.
So then I sat down, and then I collapsed, and then I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't like
wait. Okay. So you pressed raid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you shut the camera off.
Yeah.
And then you went to go sit down.
Yeah.
did you feel your legs going out, or you just went to sit down to like kind of be like, all right, what's going on right now?
Let me compose myself, see what happens, and then I could no longer feel like.
And were you alone? Like, this is a scary shit. Were you alone in the house? Like, you were alone?
I was alone in my room. My family was in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Like I really got really lucky that.
Oh my god! Can you imagine being alone and this shit happening, bro?
Yeah.
That shit scares me thinking about it sometimes. But I'm just glad the way that things turned out. Like I would have like camera problems with like my camera overheating, so I would go to a visual. So my brother probably thought that when he saw that happen, he's probably having issues. So he didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
But like with me, then when I got to the floor, I'm laying on the floor next to my turntables and like.
Wait. Oh my god. Wait. See, like a motherfucker like me, I would have been like, I live alone, so I would have been like, I'm letting this shit happen on camera. So a motherfucker could call. Yeah. So like So motherfuckers can come get me, and be like, yo, something's going on. Like, oh shit. Maybe they'd be like, what's going on? Then the record ends and they'd be like, oh, okay, something's not right here. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the chair.
Yeah.
Right? And then you end up on the floor, or is it like you try to walk and you couldn't walk?
I try to walk and I just kind of like I kind of fell on my knees and then fell on my side. Like I couldn't walk anymore. Like my legs were not working. I'm just sitting there on my side, like on the floor. And I'm basically telling my body like legs move, and then nothing. My hand, like God. I froze. I froze, and then at that second, I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. And then went through my mind like, damn, is this how it's gonna end?
Oh
like,
my God!
And I started thinking like, damn, I'm really gonna die right now.
Holy
and then
shit!
Literally, like I started like seeing like my life flashed before my eyes, like the most important moments of my life, like in like maybe like 5-10 seconds. I saw like me as a kid, me graduating high school, me getting married, like these important moments of my life were like flashing and then all of a sudden,
that's crazy. The first time you met me, right? That flash.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Shut up, Cricket. Touching moment, and you're over here fucking it up.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's a very important moment. The
R&B and Ribs party was like the last thing in the time.
Last good times, right? But then I started hearing a voice screaming, and it was basically my inner voice screaming at me. My inner voice was like, what the fuck is this? You really gonna go out like this, fool? You really gonna die like this? You better fucking crawl out that door and get some fucking help. You ain't about to fucking die.
You talk like George Lopez? For real?
Yeah. His inner voice was George Lopez.
He said, fool. Come on, fool.
Your inner voice is George Lopez. It's crazy, yo. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So like with all my might, I crawled and I banged on the door. And my brother opened the door and he saw me, and that was it, man.
Oh
and,
my God, bro.
Yeah, and then I got taken to the hospital. Luckily, the hospital that we have is the local stroke center, so they were ready for me. Like,
holy shit,
and the entire time in the ambulance, like the guys talking at me because they're like, keep them talking. That way I don't like fall into anything.
Yeah.
And, and I was telling them like, yo, am I gonna be fine? It's like, yeah, you seem to be all right. Like apparently for like a minute or two, I slurred my speech, but other than that, I was fine. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? And he's like, just relax. Like they're gonna probably put a Q-tip in your nose to see if you have COVID or not. And I'm like, do they really gotta do that? And he's like, yeah, they gotta do that. So they did that, and then they took me straight to ICU and put me in an MRI, which I hate MRIs. It's the scariest shit ever. Like being put in a fucking tube. It's like, it's very scary.
Are you claustrophobic a little bit?
Very. So the first time I freaked out, and then they had me do it a second time. But the second time, they gave me what did they give me? They gave me Xanax.
Yeah, so they give you Xanax.
Oh my God! And at that moment, I was like, oh, no wonder rappers talk about this shit. Like, it was like, I was seeing rainbows. Like, I was not even tripping.
Oh, for real?
Damn, no wonder these fools talk about Xanny bars. This shit's great. Like,
yeah, because it really like mellows you the fuck out. Like, to the point where you're just like happy. Yeah.
But luckily the second time the technician was like, yeah, I saw you what happened the other day, so we're only gonna put you in for a few minutes and just get the scans we need. And Yeah, I was in the hospital for 8 days. Spent New Year's by myself. You know, like unfortunately during COVID, like you couldn't have family or anything. So I was like literally by myself on New Year's. Like like
Wait,
it was nuts.
so were you immobile as soon as like I know you crawled to the door, which is crazy. Like it sounds like some movie shit for real. Like were you in pain? Like was there a pain involved, or was it just a complete numbness?
It was a complete numbness at first, like my whole entire left side.
Is that almost more scary because you had no control over your joints and your limbs and shit? Like
it was scary as fuck, man.
Yeah, I know.
Because up to that point, like I didn't realize how much like your brain and your heart controls like everything in your body. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. But then it was crazy. Like the surgeons were like, "My man, you are very lucky that you are alive at this point.
Wow.
You know, like they're like, you should be dead right now."
Whoa,
you know, like a surgeon telling you that shit, I'm just like, man, like,
shit, man.
I really fucked up, you know, like I really like let myself go in the worst way. I mean, at that point, I weighed 300 pounds. Like I really had gained some weight, you know, like they talk about that COVID weight. I overdid it, man, you know, but that's like the thing, like for me, like everything's been sort of like redemption for me. Like I did this, I have to undo it now. So my mission, like since then, has been to just get better. I mean, I've dropped 35 pounds so far this year, you know, like just eating right, and you know, I'm not eating bad shit anymore. Just eat, you know,
no more Postmates.
Yeah, none of that, man. Like everything's home cooked here, man, and just you know, and portion control is very important. You know what I mean? Like just you know when they tell you like you know the size of your hand, you know, for like one thing like vegetables and whatever, like that shit makes sense, man. You know, like everywhere we go, they just give you super big ass portions of everything, and it's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Jamie and I know, you know, we're Latino. Like, a lot of our lives are built around food, and it's always like, you know, hey, mijo, do you need more? Like, it's always like, here, you have 3 plates, you know, and like, you know, we're not supposed to live like that. You know?
In a Mexican household, you get served the same amount an adult does, and you're expected to finish it.
Yep, even as a kid.
Even as a kid. So a 12-year-old kid eating the same as a 30-year-old man is kind of crazy. And then you get in trouble for not finishing it. So it's one of those things that you.
It's like it's conditioning, man. It's crazy.
Conditioning. It's like, yo, you gotta eat. And then if you go to somebody's house and you get offered food, you can't say no.
That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful and shit like that. So it's really bad conditioning on the Latin side of an upbringing.
So I want to go back. You're in a hospital. You're alone for 8 days, right? You're not able to move, are you?
The first 2 days I wasn't able to move too much, but the only reason I started like moving around was because they wanted me to pee in a cup while sitting down, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. I gotta pee in a fucking bathroom. So I like learned how to like walk. You know, they wanted me to be in a wheelchair, and I refused. They wanted me to use a walker. I used a walker for like 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not an old man. I'm 41, man. I could fucking walk. And I just learned how to walk, you know, just kind of like careful. They told me not to get up. I'm a fall risk, but I wasn't about to pee in a fucking bottle in the bed. Like, fuck that, man. Like, I have some dignity, you know. That was just my whole attitude to the whole situation, you know. Like, like I can't just give up, man. I learned the hard way that, you know, it's easy to give up in these types of situations. You know, I could have just given up and just been in a wheelchair and then just gone about my life. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm like at the prime of my life. Like I am not about to just like sit here and not do something about my life, you know, and be better, you know. Like
where did this fighter spirit come from? You know? Where did that inner George Lopez come from? Where's that come from, man? No. Because I'm not trying to diss you, but I would have never expected so much heart from you like that. You know, you're like such a nice dude. You know what I mean? And you're not aggressive at all. You're very chill. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when motherfuckers are in the thick of it, when they're at their worst, you really see like what they're made of. Yeah. And like I kind of seeing what you're made of really impressed me. Does that make sense? You know? And I'm where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? Where do you think it comes from?
I feel for me, like for everything in life, I've had to fight for it. I've always felt like I've been an underdog for everything that I've done in my life. You know, like I never like, I was never good enough to be in sports, like anything. So like I just had to do other shit. Like I wasn't good at sports or like academic shit, but then I was like I was great as I was a great, b-boy back in the day. I was great at graph, I rapped for a few years, and DJing was just something like I just, the way I was raised, everything was show and prove, and just you have to prove yourself. You can't go out without a fight. Even when we were battling in like, in the b-boy circuits, or when you were, battling other crews when doing graph, like, you have to fight for your, for your shit, like for your respect, and for me it was sort of like I had to, when I was at the hospital, like I had to fight for my own dignity, my own respect, like I just wasn't gonna allow myself to fall down at this part of my life, like things were going so good, up to the pandemic, that I'm like, yeah, like for me it was hard. It was hard, man. I wasn't just gonna allow myself to go out like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been easy for me to just been like, fuck it, But I've been, I have a very supportive family, and everyone that's been supportive, all the DJs, all the homies, and like I have a very good support system that was there for me, and even in the hospital, like I really lucked out because on that weekend, I mean, for New Year's, like all the staff is gone. They only have so much staff, right? But luckily that in my hospital, I actually had an actual therapist there that was there with me. She would come in and talk to me like 1 hour a day.
Wow. That's dope.
Like, and she was like, "Look, you're going through a lot of mental trauma. Just kind of talk to me. What's going through your head? What are the things that have stressed you out?" And so, like for a good 7 days, I had somebody who I could just like vent about everything, and that really, really, really helped. You know what I mean? Just kind of put things into perspective. And like that first month, where I was really like in my mind, like, damn, this sucks, man. Like but then it was like me, like I was blaming myself for what happened, and in many ways, like I like I had to own up to it, like I did this to myself, and I have to make it better now, and thankfully I have my brother, who's been there, every day for me, and my sister-in-law, like they're just not gonna let me fall back into my old ways, like. It's important, man. Like, as much as we, like this, like here, I'll show you like my shirt. It says, health is wealth. Like,
I got that shirt.
It's no, thank you, man. No, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's real, man. I learned the hard way, man. Like, like life is nothing if you don't have some type of health and balance in your life, and not just what you eat, but like in your mind, like I'm happy that like now we're getting to a point in the world where like we're able to talk about mental health, and it's not so much like, oh, that motherfucker's crazy. I'm like, maybe he's crazy because he's going through something, you know what I mean? And even for me, like I've seen everybody go through their struggles. Like I can't be judgmental, you know what I mean? Because I know there's a lot of people that haven't even reached out this whole time that I've been down, but I realize that I'm not the only one going through something. Everyone is going through something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to be very mindful and respectful. If you see people tweeting just really random shit, you just got to reach out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I always reach out to people because I see it. Like I see tweets and I see posts, and I'm like, they're not in the right state of mind. They just need somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people during the pandemic, especially people that were on Twitch and on social media, they just took to drinking and drugs as an escape. But it only helps you for so much, and then you're back to square one again. You're back to your problems and having to deal with them and having no help or no solution. So it's always great to talk to others. You know what I'm saying? It should never be about, oh, that motherfucker's crazy. I mean, maybe he's crazy, but maybe they're going through some shit. Like I have like some homeboys that went through some really rough breakups during the pandemic, and it really fucked them up. Because before you would break up with somebody, you could just go out and party, but we were like literally like inside, and then like shit was scary.
Yeah. And you didn't have that in-person, comfort either of like talking and getting a hug or just, hanging with someone in person. And, that was definitely missing. I'm really just impressed at how focused and motivated you were. And I'm kind of wondering, in those 8 days in the hospital, were you having an internal battle with yourself on not getting down? And then what was motivating you? Like, what was the in your head, were you like, you know what, I'm gonna get back to work, I'm gonna get back to my stream, what was motivating you? You know what I'm saying?
for me, what was motivating me was just wanting to get back to the real world eventually. Like I was just, I think, sometimes I think about what would have happened if I didn't have the stroke. Like I would be out there right now. You know what I mean? But who knows? Like there's no way to know what would have happened. Something else could have happened. Like. So for me, the motivator getting out of the hospital was like, I need to get better. I need to walk. I need to, be able to get back on the turntables because for so long, like, I couldn't use them, like I didn't want to be depressed. Like I had to work at it, and I really just miss playing music more than anything, it was really heartwarming just the support that I got, all the DJs that went and did fundraisers for me, and they just been keeping my stream alive this whole time. Like, it's great.
Let's talk about that because I want to talk about when the doctor, like the doctor at some point has to tell you like, yo, it's gonna be a while for you to fucking walk regular and do all of this shit. Mm-hmm. And if I was being told that, the first thing that would come to mind is like, how the fuck am I gonna make money, right? Yeah. And then the second thing would be like, holy shit, how the fuck am I gonna make money and do this? Who's the fuck's gonna pay for all this therapy, right? This physical therapy, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck am I gonna pay for this hospital shit, right? So like, not only did you go through some of the worst physical trauma you've been in your whole life, now you have this stress weighing on your head of like, how the fuck am I gonna pay for this shit,
right?
And then all of the people I got to trouble, right? I gotta trouble all of these motherfuckers to help me, and it's a very humbling situation, right?
Right.
And it's almost a part of me would think, fuck all that. I'd rather just wallow and be depressed and just not bother anybody, and just be by myself, and I'll just be immobile by myself and paralyzed by myself, so I don't have to trouble anybody and have them spend money or do all this work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the ugly. Maybe that's the ugly pride or ego talking, but
right.
Like I'm wondering if that shit was going through your head, because that would have gone through my head,
Oh yeah, no, totally, man. Like I felt like, damn, I'm going to have to inconvenience not only my family, but my friends and everybody. But the crazy part was while I was going through that in the hospital, like, it was a group of people. It was my brother, my brother Jeff, alongside with Beats for Hope and, one of my best friends, Ziwala, DJ Zaldi, DJ Fly. They all kind of congregated together, like, Voltron, and just kind of put everything into motion. They're like, look, Alex, we don't want you to worry about finances or anything. So we're gonna come up with this campaign to, keep your channel alive, and we're just gonna get a bunch of people to support you, and it just kind of worked out, and for me, like the first month was like, I was really inactive the first month, but after that I jump in the chats, and I've been moderating and just kind of help tailor, the way things go, like for me it was important that, I mean, it's great to have the guests on the channel, but ultimately the audience wants to see me, but at least me being in the chats, they know that I'm there, and I'm welcoming. I want people to feel welcome regardless of who's on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, I feel whoever is on the channel, like Neva's done my channel, Crooked's been on, and like you guys are representing on my channel, but like I'm still there regardless, even if I'm not there on screen. I want everyone to still feel welcome. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it's been incredible, man. I can't front, man. Vice did my channel a few times, and that was really dope. For a guy at his level, he's doing major things, and he still took the time out to like do an hour or two, like nothing, on strength, and just the support in general. Just everyone wants me to get better. They want to see me come back and do my thing. And this past Monday was more like a thank you to everybody for the continued support, because I was able to do my thing, even though I am still dealing with some physical limitations, like I'm just happy that I'm able to, play some jams and have some fun, and,
Yeah. Like, so during this whole 6 months, you've had DJs holding down your Twitch, and you've been selling merch, and you've been working with Beats for Hope. Can you explain what Beats for Hope is a little bit more?
Beats for Hope is based out of the Bay Area. They're a nonprofit organization. They help out a bunch of different organizations, pretty much what we do there is through the merch sales, a portion of each merch sale, a portion goes to these nonprofits. One of the nonprofits that we work with is Lava May. They're based out of here in California, and what they do is they provide mobile shower units for homeless communities. So they'll go out to Skid Row in LA or the Tenderloin in San Francisco, different areas, and they'll bring out these mobile units. So basically, it's a purchase with with a purpose, like
right.
having some purpose, and in a way they help me they kind of help steer me with like me and my I have a statement that says I'm a DJ with a purpose, like I do have a purpose besides playing music and turning up. Like people were really like, I feel like during the pandemic I was helping people get through through the tough times, so I did have some type of purpose out there. So they helped out with that, and I'm still part of that. And I'm, myself, Heavy's part of that as well. Zaldi, a couple other homies. And, just helping out, just paying it forward in general. We were paying it forward even when I wasn't down with Beats for Hope yet. Like, we were doing benefits, and I always found it ironic that unemployed DJs were holding benefits for other communities. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had the fires, we did, benefits for the firefighters. We did benefits for the farm workers. During Thanksgiving we had a food drive on Twitch for the Alameda County Community Food Bank. On Christmas we did the same thing, but it was for Feeding America. So we were still paying it forward regardless. So I feel like everything that happened after my stroke was sort of like coming full circle. I paid it forward, now people are paying it forward to me. So. And for real, I just want to get back to continue doing the same, paying it forward, like you said earlier, like I've been giving out ads for free for 15 years. That's my way of paying it forward. Like maybe, these edits will help you out in your, what you want to do in your life as a DJ. Like it'll help you get through some gigs or, get some opportunities. For me, that's been like my mission, like my whole life. Like, how can I help others, get, move through life. So.
Yo, you mentioned physical limitations. What are you still dealing with? Like, what is the things that you still can't do?
Well, I mean, I could walk. I'm pretty independent for the most part. I'm mainly dealing with, like, if I stand for too long, I get muscle spasms on my back. I have muscle spasms here, and, like, I have nerve damage on the top of my shoulder and the muscle over here on my shoulder. My arm sometimes locks up. So I'm still working on that. Like I'm not dealing with the numbness as much anymore. So, and it really sucks for me because I always use my left hand for scratching. So I can't do like really fast movements with my hand right now. So I'm having to be very careful with it. But I have a really cool therapist that helps me, get through this.
The physical therapist?
Mm-hmm.
What does your physical therapist say about you coming back to DJing,
She actually encouraged me to get back on the turntables.
Okay.
She just like, it's muscle. It's all muscle memory. You just have to take your time. Don't overdo it. We started with 10 minutes, play some records. And when you meet that, pain, I was having pain because for a while I've been having just nonstop pain. And once I hit the pain threshold, I would just stop. So that was all right. I did 10 minutes. And then the next week it was like, okay, I'm able to play 20 minutes. Be able to manage the pain. So that's how I've been doing it. As long as I could manage the pain, she was cool with me playing. Her and my doctor, they're just not cool with me going out to the real world yet because I'm not 100%, in general. But in a controlled environment where I'm at now, my brother's here. He's aware. He's keeping an eye out on me regardless. Like if anything goes wrong, I could stop the stream. I can, end it there. I don't have to, I don't have to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours like I was doing before. I could do an hour and that's enough. I think people at this point are happy to see me back.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah, and I'm right now. My plan is one set a week, and I'm gonna continue having the guest DJs on, and we'll go from there. I just want to get back to the real world. Unfortunately, my doctor said that I'm more than likely gonna miss the whole year in the club. So. I'm willing to deal with that as long as I come back stronger when I get back out there. If it means 2022, then
those gigs ain't going nowhere, man. They're waiting.
Exactly. And it's not that far from here.
Yeah,
2022 is like the year's almost over.
Yeah, 5 more months.
Yo, don't rush that shit. You're good. trust me, everybody is gonna want to book you when you're ready. You know, it's not.
Definitely.
You know, it's on your time, man. So don't worry about that shit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. You're fucking good. And I want to know, you know, when I saw you, I got emotional. You know, and
I try not to cry, man. Like there was moments there where I walked away from the screen. I'm like, I was wiping the sweat off my head, but like also like I had those moments where like I don't want to cry. All right, and then I like just got back to it. You know.
How did that feel, man? How did it? You know what is this? What is this whole year said to you? I could imagine DJs looking out for you. If I've seen anything, I've realized how warm, supportive the DJ community can be.
Yeah.
And I think you've really brought that out even more. Like when I saw your stream and I saw the comments going crazy and the subs going crazy and the bits going crazy and it was overwhelming, and you're playing hip hop and you were doing 2 hours, and we were just looking at you, and you looked so alive. You almost looked like you were shaking. You didn't know, you were so excited. There was like so much feeling in you.
Thank everybody for being here with us. Boom Bap Monday's 1 year anniversary and my return to Twitch. Slow and steady. Thank you, everybody.
It was very emotional. Even my brother came in a few times. He's like, "Hey, calm down, man. You're really gonna like work yourself out." But it was tough, like, because for me, it felt like it was the set I've been wanting to do the last 6 months that I haven't been able to do. You know, like, you know, watching all of you guys play, like it inspires me. Like seeing you guys playing on Twitch inspires me. Seeing you guys out in the real world playing, that inspires me to like get better, get my shit, you know, like this whole year I organized the hell out of my Serato. It's way more organized than it was before. Like, you know, I just want to be ready for when the time comes and I'm ready and I'm at 100% like health. Like I'm just gonna be ready for everything, you know, like. You know, so it wasn't just me recovering. I was recovering. I stayed, you know, I laid low, but, you know, I've been working on music, working on edits, and, you know, just organizing and, you know, just staying active as much as I can be, you know. But thankfully with my therapist, she was like, "Hey, man, get on it, man," because I know that's part of what you're missing, you know. Like you seem your happiest when you're playing music. You need that for your heart needs it, your brain needs it, your body needs it. You need to feel good about it, you know, like, you know, because it's easy to feel like a lost cause when like your arm isn't working. There's days where I feel fine and I'm good. There's days where I wake up and I'm like, it takes me like 5 minutes to kind of get my bearings. I have a brain fog sometimes, you know, and like that's how I know I'm not ready, because there are those days are too frequent right now, you know. Like there's days where like my mind just wanders. Like I'll lose track of time. When, you know, I was outside like a few days ago. I went outside. And it was like 10 o'clock, and I didn't realize that I was just kind of hanging out. And I thought it was a few minutes. I looked at my phone. It was like 12:45. Like some days it's just like that. You know, it's like a reality. But I just do my best to live as normal life as I can. And I just tell people, don't treat me like I'm different. I'm the same person as before, man. You know, I just can't be out turning up with anybody. I can't be out, you know, at the Twitch meetups or anything yet, you know. Like I just have to be very careful about my health and just getting better, you know. Like this is very important to me. Like I'm not gonna be able to function at 100% if my body isn't at 100%. You know, so, you know, if it means sacrificing a year, then that's what I gotta do, you know. But I own it. I own the fact that I got myself into this and I gotta get myself out of it, you know. So.
Yo, do you still, like, I don't want to bring up the bad stuff, but I was like your brother. I found one of my family members collapse on the floor, and man, that family member went through some tough times mentally, that having that triggering moment that it might happen again. Do you still deal with that type of shit?
Every once in a while, you know.
Because I know it's like you just never know, and it's like it can happen again. And I just wonder if you still go through that shit, because I know that my family member, more frequent than enough, even us, like in the house, so we would hear a loud bang.
Yeah.
We'll run to wherever the hell he was.
Yeah, no, it's like that here. Anytime something something will fall, my brother's like, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm good." You know, like they're just making sure that it wasn't me, you know. So yeah, I guess there's a bit of trauma for the whole family, you know, but we all get through it together, you know. Like, you know, for me, like, it would be horrible of me to go back to my old lifestyle, like having put my family and my friends through what they've been through, because the trauma wasn't just for me, it was for everybody, like no one wants to see me in the situation that I'm in, no one wants to see me hospitalized and like handicapped, like, so for me, my mission is just to get better and be better than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling like I'm on my way there, you know what I mean, like but it's a bit of everything. It's health, it's your eating, it's not paying attention to Twitter all the time, like not letting those things like rile you up and stress you out, because we get we get stressed out about everything. Like, I mean, one tweet could stress your whole day, and a lot of people live like that, and you can't live based off of like everyone's hot takes, like you can't get high blood pressure because of people's hot takes. People are gonna have hot takes 24/7. You just gotta learn to ignore some of that shit. There's days where I see that fuckery on Twitter, I'm like, I'm just not gonna go on Twitter today, man. I'm just gonna focus. I'm gonna go watch Netflix. Like, I'm not even like trying to.
It's pretty bad right now though. Like, DJ Twitter is pretty fucking miserable. Like,
yeah, man.
Well,
you saw what happened. You saw what happened yesterday, right? With the whole Bismarcky thing. Like,
yeah, man.
Like, social media is so quick to just want to jump on something, man. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, like how, if you remember when Kobe Bryant passed away, how TMZ posted about it, and like his wife hadn't even been notified about it yet. Like, that's fucking horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like social media could be very evil. Like, we just have to be very careful of what we ingest too. As much as our careers and what we do are based on social media, like having it be there, like it's good to like, walk away and do something else as well.
I think in the past year, I think me myself, I can't speak for everybody on the podcast, but I've definitely approaching social media in a different way, and especially Twitter, where I really, I'm really not trying to engage with nobody like that. And it just seems like a really miserable fucking place where these DJs, they just don't realize sometimes like what's
how
really
good they got it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucked up. Like, some of these people are bitching about the dumbest shit ever, and I think we were talking. And I'm like, here you are going through like the most traumatic experience I could ever imagine, and you just want to DJ again, and these motherfuckers are talking about the dumbest shit, like the most shallow, like superficial issues ever that like doesn't even warrant a conversation at sometimes. It's all like surrounded on each individual's insecurity, self-esteem. You know what I mean? It's just really ugly. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I was speaking with you. I'm like, you've maintained such a positive outlook, and you've rallied a lot of people together, and I thought that was really, really a beautiful thing. And seeing you on Twitch and everyone coming together, it was just a really, really high moment for 2021 for me personally. I think for the DJ community, because I think you've become a major fixture in that. You've always been there for people,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For I would say almost every DJ that I know in my circle, you've been there. Yeah. And
definitely a highlight, definitely the highlight of my year so far, man. So definitely, and in general, just going back to the Twitter thing, like, to each their own what they want to say, man. But for me, I feel like you guys shouldn't complain. You guys have like the luxury. To me, I feel like it's a luxury for you to be out there and be able to play. I can't. As much as I love music, I can't even be out there and like rock with y'all. So like for me, it's like, what are you guys complaining about? You guys didn't play for 15 months. You're back to it. That's a fucking luxury.
Yeah.
I don't get afforded that luxury in it right now because of my health.
Yeah.
So, that's what, if anything I've learned, just, it's easy to fall into the negativity. Like, I'd rather just push something better out there,
Yeah.
Like, I know we all have our moments, every other day or whatever, but negativity, people thrive on negativity, man. And it's just,
yeah.
Yeah, even myself, like, doing like recap videos or like, Instagram shits or selfies and shit. Like, I don't really want to do that for my gigs, but I have to kind of do it. But it's like, I really hate that. Don't you wish you were here? Kind of, energy that it pushes out.
Right.
Like, oh, yo, look at my party. Like, look how ill this is. Don't you wish you were here kind of energy? And I don't really want to do that shit no more, Like,
right.
And I'm trying to think of a way to market myself and market my gigs and market all of that shit without having to do that. You know what I mean? So at my gigs, I don't really do that recap like, I'm kind of quiet around my gigs, but if I'm at your gig, I'll pipe your shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll pump your shit up.
Man.
Like,
I think it's more because you're actually focused on the music and the task at hand. You're not really focused about the social aspect of it. There's different levels of DJing out there. There are DJs that are really great at social media, and then there's the rest of us who just want to go in and have a good time, rock the party and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
I feel like I approach it in a really bad way. I approach it like I'm a guy, like I'm at a car factory, like I'm at Ford, and I'm like
you're on an assembly line.
That's how I feel though. Like I feel like the nightclub is the car factory, the waitresses are an assembly line, the bartenders, the bussers, the security, promoters, the owners, and I'm just one of the guys on the assembly line. You know what I mean? Like, and I kind of just want to go there and really just do my job and make sure everybody's making money. And then I just don't really, I don't know, like I hate getting caught up in myself. Like I really hate promoting myself, like I really hate it. And I really hated I didn't want to do any of it earlier in the year, especially because I knew New York was closed. I didn't want like my New York motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like, haha, I'm working, yo. Shit is popping, it's lit. Like life is beautiful. And then these motherfuckers in New York are like struggling. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to do that shit. Like I don't, I just don't want to do that, And I was
everyone's approach is different, man. That's what it is. Yeah, ultimately. But everyone's gonna have a different approach for sure.
But then I sometimes think if it comes off as bad marketing, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe I'm, but I'm really happy that, you're back to DJing. You're gonna be on Twitch once a week, right? And what days do you think you're gonna do? Is it just gonna switch around, or what's it gonna be?
I'm gonna try to doing like a different show a week.
Okay.
I have four shows on, so I'm just gonna try to like do one week, the other show another week.
Let me hear your schedule. Let's hear your schedule so we can market that.
Okay. Boom Bap Mondays.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's always.
That's become such a major fixture on Twitch. By the way,
it has.
Yeah. This week, that's the reason I was on. Part of the reason besides my comeback, it was our 1 year anniversary. So shout out to Fly. Conversation.
Yeah, shout out to Fly.
Yeah,
big
conversation.
Shout out to Fly.
Yeah, we had a conversation about a little bit over a year ago about. We both grew up listening to the Wake Up Show. We grew up listening to DJ Revolution. And those types of sets that he would put on there and. We were like, dude, it'll be great to like have like a show where we could just play joints and not have to worry about anything. So that's literally how it started. It was him for 2 hours and me for 2 hours. And then a few weeks later, Mike 2600 jumped in, and then Evil D and Green Lantern and Franzen. And then it just sort of it took a life of its own. Both of you guys have been on there, it's sort of an institution now on Twitch on Mondays for, in the DJ world, like.
Yeah.
Boom bap all day, every Monday. So it's fun, man. It made us appreciate just all the joints that are out there and being able to dig. Like I've talked to Neville before, like go, dig, man, play some shit, and with Neville, I like with Neville, like he makes it seem like you're in you're in Bronx, you know what I mean? Like his whole design, it's like you feel like
thank you,
man. So, and then when you play, it's like you feel like you are in New York, you're like, oh shit, cool, like
thanks, man. Thanks for having me too, man. So.
What do you call it? And then so you have Boom Bap Mondays, and then what else do you have?
We do Fiesta Latina, which is 100% Latin music. That's every Wednesday night. Usually 7 p.m. Pacific, and that one has that's kind of taken a life of its own as well. It's weird. It's crazy how these Twitch shows are now becoming brands. Like even with Fiesta Latina, we're planning on doing like we're gonna do day parties with it. eventually.
Oh, wow.
Like we're gonna try to like go up and down the coast and see what we could do with it. So
yeah, I feel like yeah. Do you think Boom Bap Mondays could be like a monthly party for you guys in real life?
I think I believe Fly has some ideas for that. I think he's already working on a New York show. So,
Wow, crazy.
He's in PA, but he's like a few hours away from New York City. So
Wow,
I believe that's gonna probably happen.
crazy.
So, yeah,
I love
That'd
it.
be dope.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love what you guys. So you have Monday, Wednesday, and then
yeah. And then Friday we do TGIF. That was more of an open format show, a bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty fun. That one, like, you know, when I was playing, I originally was like playing a lot of like, you know, high energy freestyle 90s house, but then it was a bit of everything, you know, like anything goes, like, you know, 90s rock, grunge, you know, Latin, everything together mashed up, you know. And then Saturday is Broke Ass EDC. That's like my fun, you know, EDM show, you know. Originally it was going to be called Brokachella, but I went for Broke Ass EDC instead. This is the EDC that everyone could afford because it's free.
that's good shit, man.
Yeah, and that's just all EDM bass, you know, just you know, with you know festivals type shit, you know, just fun vibes, you know, just keep everything's just keeping it fun and lively, you know.
Is there anything? Is there like one thing like you learned in the past year that you can sum up? Do you think? I feel like your story is so important. Like what happened to you, you know?
Honestly, it's just believing in yourself and what you want to do, man. You know, like the world will always put obstacles in your way, and people will always doubt your abilities. You just gotta go and do it, man. You know, like, you know, I constantly tell people that like with my whole Twitch journey, like I started in the shittiest gear and I still became a partner. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to get on, you know, no disrespect to my green screen guys, but like I didn't have to use a green screen or crazy graphics. Yeah, no, which is no. See, in Neva's situation, he's being creative, and that's the good thing about a green screen. He's being creative with it, you know, to make you feel like you're somewhere. But some people just use it. It's everything, and like the music lacks, you know.
Yeah.
Like, the music should still be number one regardless, you know. So for me, it's like I had all these obstacles. One of the obstacles was like, should I go get a new mixer or should I pay my rent? I felt like paying my rent, paying my bills was more important than going out and getting the mixer. I was able to do it on a bullshit $500 Serato mixer, and I still became partner. You know what I mean? But I think that's more of a testament of like not only being good at the music, but being good to the audience, being good to every person that comes in, making everybody, like for me and my channel, I just want to make everyone feel like they're part of the family, even if it's your first time, you know, like I want you to feel like you're right at home. Like it's like Cheers, you know, where everybody knows your name, you know, like, so I think just believing in yourself and just not let something like the pandemic stop you. You know, the pandemic didn't really stop me. What stopped me was having a stroke. You know, but even then, I've been home all this time, you know, and I've been putting out edits with Direct Music Service. You know, I'm still, you know, doing all these other things on the back end. You know, I'm back on radio again, doing sets, but, you know, I'm not going to let the stroke and these, you know, these physical limitations stop me from, you know, succeeding. You know, I'm still in the game, you know, and that's what I try to tell people. Like, you know, don't discount me out because I'm not on the club. I can still make an impact without having to be out there in the real world, you know?
Yeah. Well, yo, fam, I mean, I'm glad you're recovering and you're getting closer and closer to, you know, being 100%, which I know you will be.
Yes, eventually.
And yo, man, you're one of the strongest motherfuckers I know, you know, and
Thank you.
Yo, I want to say, yo, much love to you, and I'm very, very happy to have you on the podcast, and
Well,
I'm very glad, and thank you for sharing what you went through, because honestly, you know, when you first told me about what happened with your stroke, you know, I instantly started just changing my diet and just eating better. And, you know, it's like we just get caught up, you know, like, and we don't realize like these little things just catch up to us, especially, you know, as we get older, just eating right, you know, like we indulge too much in certain things, and it really made me put things into perspective, and also just seeing, you know, how everyone rallied for you and looked after you, and then you allowing motherfuckers to help you is a big thing too, because that's something sometimes I have issues with, you know. You know, much love, man. Thank you very much for sharing, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So, anything else you guys want to ask or anything, or?
Nah,
man.
We good?
It's good to see you, bro. It's good to see you, man.
It's great to see you. AUDIO1, no doubt, man. Especially Monday, like Crooked said, it was just like felt really good seeing you back on Twitch, man.
Yeah, it was overwhelming for sure, man. But it was necessary, man. I think for me more than anything was just, hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing better. Like, but I still got work. You know, it's still the road to recovery continues, man. Like but I'm not out the game, you know, by any means. You know what I mean? Like, but it's been tough, man. Like I'm just really happy. You know, I'm happy for all the support, and I'm just happy that I could still, you know, play. You know, like because you know the messages I've gotten all week is like, dude, you look like you're ready to just get out there. I'm like, I'm ready, but my body isn't. You know, and that's the thing I've had to learn. It's patience more than anything, you know, just because I get FOMO with social media, man, just seeing everybody out, you know, like I want to be out there with you guys and I can't. Like I want to go to Vegas and hang out and I can't.
Yeah.
You know, like I just, you know, they're like, hey, man, trust me, you wait a bit. Once you're at 100, nothing's gonna stop you. So I'm just gonna wait for that moment. I'm just gonna keep pushing.
I was gonna ask you about that. If being on social media sometimes demotivates you a little bit, or just puts you in a bitter place. You know. It
did in the originally, but again, you know, it's a different situation that I'm in compared to others. You know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, you know, everyone should go out there and have fun if they can. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your time's gonna come soon. Don't worry about it. And you're gonna be out there soon, and I'm sure you're gonna fucking murder that shit, bro.
I gotta call Eddie. I gotta play on that bus.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's definitely what happened. Hell yeah.
All right, brother. Yo, AUDIO1, we love you, man. I love your strength. I love your focus. We all need a inner George Lopez like yours to keep us going.
Okay, fool.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon, man. We'll keep us updated, please. All right.
Perfect.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right, brother. Peace.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.